Hey Addy friends, Connie here from Blissfully Creative. So I'm back to show you that layout that I said I was going to do using those embellishments that I made using the bits and bobs from the Kitaholics kit, September kit, and as I said in my last video, that I was going to scrapbook this picture of my husband, my darling husband Mark. And but first off, I wanted to show you some stuff that I'm going to use because I put my tutorials in, I times it by 4, so I put it in fast forward mode. Sometimes when I talk, everything just goes through so quickly, I miss lots of bits. And I really wanted to show you what I'm hoping to use, because I haven't recorded this layout yet. So what I'm hoping to include on this page, this is 9 by 12. This is a cream cardstock. I think this is a close to my heart cardstock. I do like this cardstock because it's nice and smooth, and I do like working on the smooth backgrounds. I don't mind the textured, but I do prefer the smooth. This photo I printed from my Epson Picturemate, and this is a 3 by 4. I think I printed that at. So that's what I'm going to be using today. But I wanted to show you a couple of little bits that I like to use when I do my layer clusters behind my photo. So I wanted to show you like a little bit up and close and personal, if that makes any sense. So this book here, I have mentioned before, but I haven't gone into detail about. This little notebook here I picked up at Typo, and it was on the clearance rack bin table at my local Typo, and it's normally $19.99, so normally $20 here in Australia, and it was marked down to $5. So, and when I flicked through it, I just saw all these awesome background that I could use on my scrapbooking. Like, it was just awesome, and this is going to last me so long. So in a lot of previous tutorials I have been ripping out of this, but I just wanted to show you in a little bit more detail. So this is really cool, and look how thick it is. Like, this is going to last me forever. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also wanting to try and use this, I think it's, I picked this up from the hardware shop. I've used it before in layouts, and I really like the texture it gives me. And I haven't used it for a long time, so I thought I'd pull it out and see if I can get it on this layout. So I think it's just plasterer's tape or something like that. I'm not 100% sure what it's called, but I spotted it at my local Bunnings store and went, oh, that looks nice. And yeah, so I grabbed all of that. I couldn't tell you how much it was. It was a while ago that I brought it. So I'm going to try and use that on this. And I've also pulled out a bit of that Hessian. I have a whole heap of this Hessian material. I brought it years and years ago for something. I was going to make something. I can't even remember what it was. I have like 2 big boxes of just material and sewing stuff, and I'm not a sewer. I've always dreamt of learning how to sew, but just have never got around to it. So I cut a piece of that off because I'd like to use that in this, on this layer as well. And I've just grabbed also a piece of just, I think this is actually tracing paper. It's not vellum, it's tracing paper that I just found in my scrap bin. So I thought, well, that's sort of like vellum, but it's not. So I'm pretty sure it's actually tracing paper, but same sort of feel and texture to it as vellum. And I also ripped out from a notebook a piece of paper from a notebook. I like this edge here, and I like the lines on it, and I thought that would be interesting to use to rip up or cut up to go behind my photo. And just also just what I normally use, my latest fad is just some plain computer paper that I'll use to layer up behind. And also I'll be using some of the papers from the September kit, my leftover papers that I've got. So yeah, so I just thought I'd do a little intro to this process this time for something a little bit different. And yeah, so I will see you, and I'll do a voiceover as I'm doing this layout as usual, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more of an in-depth look at what I plan on doing and if I can get it all done. And I'm also going to be using some of the embellishments that I made, which I think I said at the start, but I can't remember. So so I'll see you at the end. Bye. Hey arty friends, Connie here from Blissfully Creative. So I've come back from my intro, and I'm going to start doing the layout process. So I was thinking, instead of using that plasterer's tape, whatever it's called, I'm not sure what that little hessian thing, instead of using it as a layer, I decided I would use it as a stamp. And that Delusions paint came in the mixed media kit. So, and that way I'm using a couple of other items that came in the kits that I purchased this last month, because it's a September kit. So yeah, I shook up my Delusions paint, and I just used the lid, because when you shake it up, a little bit of the paint goes in the lid, and just stamped with it. So I was really happy with that effect. So now I decided that I wanted to go down that photo, but in the end I realized that I probably shouldn't have. But it doesn't really matter. I'm still happy with the final product. So as I said in yesterday or the other day's video, I would do another embellishment. I'd make another handmade embellishment for this layout using my leftover papers from the kit. So I have decided I'm going to cut strips and do like a weaving technique, where I'm just going to weave the papers into each other to make like a sort of a background thing. So here I'm just those zip strips there I cut off and just sliced them in half, because I didn't want them too thick. I wanted them sort of thinnish, and I wanted them to all be sort of uneven and messy and different lengths, and so nothing really matched. I really wanted that messy look. So here I am, I'm just picking up some, I'm not even thinking about what pieces of paper I am choosing, as long as they're not the same next to each other. And I am just laying them down, and I'm just gonna slowly start weaving this. And I found when I started to do this that they were just papers, the strips were just moving around, and so I ended up getting a piece of washi tape and just stuck that top row, the ones that went down across, and that made the process go so much quicker. I did delete some of this video because you didn't really want to sit here and watch me do this for, you know, a couple of minutes. So all of a sudden it'll go to when it's all completed. So, but this is just a little bit to show you how I done it. And it was pretty quick and easy. And once you got the weaving sort of happening, it just sort of flowed very quickly. So, yeah, so as you can see, I'm just trying to make everything really uneven, so nothing's really matching. And yeah, so I like the messy look. I mean, if you haven't learnt that about me yet, I really do. I do like the messy look because I don't have to be perfect, and I'm not perfect in real life. So yeah, so that's it completed, and I just used that tacky glue that's in that my fine line bottle, and just glued them all together and left them overnight to dry. And so this is the next day. So I've come back the next day. This was yesterday. So what's today? Today's Thursday. So this was yesterday, and then I filmed the night one on Tuesday night. So it's like become 3 days, and now today's Thursday morning, and I'm doing the voiceover. So I've just used a little bit of computer paper there just to do a little layer. I also backed the photo onto that piece of what did I call it? Tracing paper that I showed in the first part of this process video. And now I'm just going to cut off some random pieces of paper left over, and rip that piece of notebook paper and just start slowly layering up that photo. So with the hessian, what I like to do is I like to pull off the end, so you've sort of got that, you know, roughy sort of bit, and it just gives it a bit of a nice roughy look, and that extra texture that adds to the actual layers, which I just love doing that. And I haven't done that for a long time, so you'll probably see a lot of hessian coming up in future layouts, because I really do like the way that looks. I've forgotten how awesome that was. Yeah, so I'm just putting together all my layers, and like I said before, I do wish I had left the photo bigger. At the end, I realised that it was probably a little bit too small. But, I mean, there was a lot of space on the side where my husband's arms were, and it was like dead space, but I don't know. I don't know what made me cut it. But, yes, but I do wish I hadn't of now. So, now I'm just going to sort of work out where I'm going to put everything. So, I've got my embellishment piece, my weaved paper, if that's what I could call it. I'm not 100% sure what you'd call it, but I'm assuming it's like a weave, yeah. And I cut that strip of the pattern paper and just put that on the side just to sort of balance it out a little bit, because I had done a little bit of stamping in that bottom right hand corner. So now I'm going to go through my handmade embellishments that I made on my video the other day, and you can go back and have a look, or if I remember, I will pop it below in the comments so you can go back and check it out. And so yeah, I'm just going to try, I've used that, sorry, I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm a little bit flustered today. Today I had to get up super early. My son has his muck-up day at school. He's finished VCE. They start exams next week, so today's their muck-up day. And so I had to take him to school super early so they can do what they do at the school. And yeah, so I'm a little bit tired. And then tonight is his valedictory dinner, so tonight we're going to go out for dinner and all that, and I've got to go get my hair straightened, and oh yeah, and I'm just want to get this video quickly done because I won't have time later today to do it. So that's enough about my boring life. But yeah, so I'm just using that banner that I sewed together, and that Love Him little arrow that came in the Kaiser Craft pack that went with the kit. And I cut the arrow off because it just was in the wrong spot. So I just snipped that off, and it was easy as that. And I think it looks 100% better. That little tag down in the bottom there, I added a little bit of that twine, and just use a stapler just to add another bit of detail to that. So I was really happy with how that looked. So I'm just going to like fluff around with some of the embellishments, and of course use a little bit of the thread because I've sewn on some of those embellishments, so I needed to tie back in some more thread. And I've put those square brads there, but as you can see, I've come back, everything's glued down, and I decided not to do those brads around the page because when I really sat back and looked at it, I wasn't happy with it. I was trying to use them as like a splatter effect, but it didn't work. But I popped one down in the right hand corner down there near that embellish tag. So I got one on the page. So I've used one. I haven't used a brad in years, so I was pretty proud that I just used the one. So now I'm just using the alpha stickers that came in the kit, and just I didn't have many left. I wanted to write "Love My Man," but I didn't have enough, and so I just decided to do a very boring, simple, plain layout and just put Mark. And I picked up that technique of sticking the alphabet onto some vellum, or that is the tracing paper, of another YouTuber, and I cannot remember who it was, but I thought it was a fantastic technique, because then you can move your title around and really work out where you want it to go. So I really felt that next to Mark, it was really, really plain, but I couldn't work out anything to go there. So I just decided to go in with my grey lead pencil technique that I'm really, really loving. I just love the look. It sort of adds a little bit of me to my layouts, and just some squiggly lines. So I'm just going to go around and do all of that, and I'll also do some lines down near the tag down there in the bottom right hand corner. And then to finish this layout off, I get my Liquitex ink, and I'm just going to do some splatters. And with this layout, I decided I was just gonna just do it and drop big droplets. I've always wanted to do that, but I've always been too scared. But I decided, nah, I'm just gonna do it and love it and not worry about the effects. So here I'm just gonna do some drops, and yeah, so I didn't really love it, but I'm gonna love it. So that's pretty much it from me. So magical fingers. So bye.